Hey there! I was thinking it was time for another vintage pen review, and recently I saw a pen featured in someone's everyday carry feature on Fountain Pen Geeks, and I thought, wow, that is apparently a pretty spectacular nib. So I checked out eBay a bit, and I found one of those pens. Now, it came in this box. This is Wherever. I get the strong feeling that it's not actually the box it originally came in, but it doesn't matter. You know, I'm not a, some people collect vintage advertisements or boxes. I don't. I only care about the pen. The pen is a Waterman 52V, and these come in a bunch of finishes and forms and shapes and I think sizes. You also have a 52.5 V, for example, and I was thinking this would be one, as it was quite small, but I think I saw somewhere on there 52V, and now I probably can't find any more. In any case, this is one of the smaller 52s. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a 52.5. I don't really mind. Point out my mistakes, it's fine. This is a little ring top. A ring top, which means it has a little ring on top, which, as I understand it, ladies, they use that to put the pen around the neck, and men did it to secure the pen. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't have a date on this pen. I don't know from which era exactly it is. I know there are people out there who do. Again, feel free to point that out. In any case, this pen had to be restored because it was not exactly in pristine condition when I got it, and I got it to work. Now, some people have expressed an interest in me doing a video on how to do that, but of course the restoration process is different for every pen. But what I can do, in fact what I have done, is taken pictures of all the steps in the process. It's not that complicated, and I'm going to show you those pictures now, and I'm going to talk you through. This won't take long, but just to give you a bit of an idea. If you're not interested in pen restoration, skip on. I mean, just go ahead. Then I'll talk about the pen, show you what I like, what I don't, etc., and then I'll do writing samples. So I will do that, but for those of you who are interested in it, first I'll talk you through the pictures. Now I actually have to grab these here. So here you have a picture of the pen in the box. It came in, and this is how it was. Now, one thing you can see, this is a lever filler. So on the left side you see the ring and the cap, and then as you go down you see the barrel, and there is this weird metal contraption. Well, that metal contraption is used to compress the sac that's in there. I'll show you that later. Now, what happened, the advertiser, the seller, was quite honest about that. Sorry, sip of tea there. And he said that the lever doesn't actually lie flush in the barrel, so something is probably wrong. When I read that, I thought it's probably the sac, which is ossified. I'll show you that in a second. So that was one thing that had to be repaired. And then when I uncapped it, which is what you see here, you see that the nib all the way on the right, well, that poor boy has suffered quite a bit because it's black. It's just entirely black, and these are actually 14 karat gold nibs. So something is seriously wrong there. So the next picture, I took the pen apart. I was able to remove the section from the barrel, and on these these lever fillers, that's actually usually quite simple because I think 9 out of 10 times they're just friction fit. But they sort of, sometimes people shellac them in place, so they use an adhesive to make sure that you don't actually open them up, by accident. So what I did was I just took some very hot water, not boiling, but very hot water, and put the pen in there. I think that should be okay. You could use something like one of those heat guns, but I don't have one, and I don't really want to do something that's too aggressive. Now, of course, when you put a pen in hot water, then you always take a little bit of a risk of stuff cracking. But I got a pretty good deal on this pen. So I got them out. I got the section off, and what you can see, all those black bits, well, that's a rubber sac. But this is what happens when you take a rubber sac and you put some ink in there and you just leave the pen to rot. which is basically what happened here. And that's not at all. I think the seller had something in his text, his advertisement text, saying that he was selling this for an elderly lady. Maybe she has passed away. I don't know. In any case, this happens a lot to vintage pens, and that big part in the middle is sort of rounded off. That's the top of the sack, which I saved for reasons I'll show you later. So what you do here is you take the you take some scraping tool and you scrape the inside of the barrel clean of bits of the ossified sack, and also you clean the nipple that's on the back end of the section with some kind of scraping tool. You can use a knife, of course, but I use some sort of dental pick, which works very well. Okay, here you got the nib. So if you had in mind, this is black nib, well, this is all there's to it. I just put it in some water, and then I put it in some water with a bit of ammonia, about 25% of ammonia, 75% water. A lot of ink came off. I did the same with the feed later on, and then I just then some more water, and then I just took a jeweler's polishing cloth, and well, that's pretty much all there's to it. And the nib was turned from completely black to shiny gold, so that was pretty easy. Here you have the feed which came out of the section. As you can see, the nipple of the section all the way on the right on top there is completely clean. I scraped it clean, and the feed was a bit of an issue to remove, so I just took very hot water again, a bit of a soak, and just careful and try to pull it out. Try not to twist anything. This takes time and patience, but in the end it may work, and it was necessary. I really had to clean that. There was a lot of dried ink on there, so I'm glad I was able to take it out. And again, some water and ammonia, which dissolves ink, and that really helps. So you have the section. I put a bit of tissue there. You see that black stuff on there? Well, that's all dried ink. I just put that tissue inside of the feed, and well, that cleaned it out pretty nicely. Here we have on top we have the old sack, which was ossified. Then we have the barrel, which now has the lever removed. That's the big hole. And then a new sack. I measured it against the old sack, try to figure out which diameter it had. I picked this sack. I think that was a pretty good choice. When you have a sack like that, you want it to fit into the barrel, but you want to make sure it's not snugly against the barrel walls, because that will transfer heat from your hands into the sack, and then ink will expel from the pen, you'll get blots, etc. Getting out the lever box was fairly easy. It's two parts. You can just take out, slide out, and then you take out the lever. This is the section with the sack cemented in place, so the new sack cemented back in place with shellac. As you can see, it's not entirely straight. I still have to work a little bit on my sack cutting skills. You would like the sack to be as straight as possible, because otherwise, if it leans against one part of the barrel or one part of the lever, that's the lever construction that's inside, that's not necessarily a very useful thing, but I think I did an okay job. It seems to work. This is the lever box and the lever back in place. Now, as you can see, first of all, it's a bit more shiny because I polished it. But what you can see, if you start at the very left end of that lever box, you see the sort of shiny, you see the black hard rubber, and then you see the shiny bit. Now, if you follow those two lines running parallel to the lever, you see a sort of indentation. You see that? And then again, these two lines of the lever box continue, and that's a longer part. So that's actually two parts of the lever box which click in place. So that little indentation, those are basically just round openings, and the lever has a pin which fits into those round openings of the lever box. So the two parts, you can take them out by sort of pulling them out in a triangular fashion. So you pull them up, and then you slide them off a small ridge on the barrel. I hope that makes sense. It's a bit difficult to explain. If you've never seen this, I can imagine this would be very complicated. On the inside of the barrel is just a flat bit of metal, which is the lever connects to it. So if you take that round bit, and here you can see that it actually has the word ideal on it, If you take that round bit, you put your nail under it, you pull it up, then that flat bit on the inside is pushed down, and that depresses, or actually presses the you know, that compresses, I should say, the sack. And then when you let the lever go again, you push it down again, then the sack is depressed and it will just draw up ink. That's pretty much all there's to it. So that, in fact, was just an overview of the restoration process. I hope I haven't bored you to death. So let's have a look at the pen, right? So here we have the pen. I'll show you the parts, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. So, nice hard rubber, black hard rubber. It has a very nice wavy pattern in there, which I think you can see a little bit when I hold it to the light. I could put the pen close to the camera, but it won't really focus, but at least you see a little bit of that wavy stuff going on there, I think. Of course, you have the ring. I gave that a little bit of a polish. Nothing too fancy. I don't really want to damage it or anything, but it's nice. It's in place. Then on the barrel, oh sorry, on the cap, we have a number 1, 2, 3 holes. That's just to make sure that there's not actually vacuum inside the cap, so you know ink will be drawn out. You get ink on your fingers, etc. A nice little ridge right there in the cap. Well, then of course we have the barrel, we have the lever assembly, well, lever, yeah, we call that the assembly, I guess, the lever box and the lever. Americans would say lever, of course. Then on the barrel it has some markings. It says right here, I'm not sure how well you can see this in this light, but there is writing there, which says Waterman's Reg US Ideal Pat Off, so patent office, I guess. Patent, well, whatever. You know what I mean. And then it says fountain pen. I'm very happy it does, because, you know, you might think, oh, is that a ballpoint? No, it's a fountain pen. And then down here it says Waterman's Reg US Patent Office, again, made in USA. You unscrew it. This seems to fit pretty nicely. There are no real bits of the threads missing or anything, so it's a very smooth operation. You notice I'm very careful, but you know it is a vintage pen. The gold nib, now nice and shiny, no longer black. The feed, oh, that's just a feed that's in there, but it's a good feed. I'll show you that later. The nib is 14 karat gold. It says Waterman's Ideal Reg U. US, oh US, sorry, I didn't see the S. Patent Office, and then it says 2, so a number 2 nib. The breather hole is fairly cute and has a heart shape instead of a regular round opening. What you could do here is just take off the barrel. It just slides off, and then you would see the sack. I tend not to do that when it's not necessary. And one little thing I didn't actually say during the restoration pictures slide show is that it's a good idea to put some talc, pure talcum powder, on the sack. That way, you know, if there's any ink stuff going on, there's no real moisture, it's taken up, and it doesn't actually, it makes sure that the sack doesn't stick to the barrel. So that's always a good thing. Then you have the lever, which I cannot really operate right now because there's ink in there, but you would put your nail under that, and you can lift it up, and then it would come up like this, and then you would be compressing and depressing the sack. And that's all there's to it. I try to align the nib and lever box at a 90-degree angle because I think that's the way lever pen should be, but some people put it on top. It just rotates, it's fine. Okay, you can post the pen if you feel the desire to do so. It's not a really big pen, so you know it's probably a good idea, although this is actually just big enough for me to use unposted. Which I may do because it's, you know, it's old and I don't want to damage the barrel by posting it or anything. So there you have it, a restored pen. What do I like about it? Well, it was an interesting exercise to try and restore this, and I'm sure that, you know, people could do more. I just noticed that there's a little bit, there seems to be a little bit of discoloration. The black is shiny. The black is shinier with the where it was covered by the cap, and a little duller down there. So you can probably polish the whole pen. For me personally, I'm happy with the way it is. It writes well. The nib tipping is not really worn off or anything. I love tinkering with pens a little, so for me it was very nice to spend a couple of evenings just trying to take it apart, restoring it as well as I can, and I succeeded. It draws up ink, it does everything it's supposed to do, so that's cool. I like that. The pen itself, a little small. I could have gotten a bigger 52, but you should realize that then you would pay $200-300. At least those are the prices I see on eBay for the really nice examples with the really nice finishes. This is a bit more restrained with the black, and it's a bit smaller. But the nib is what counts, and I really love the nib. Nice and flexy. I'll show you that in a short while. And that's all there's to it. So anything I don't like about the pen? Well, not really. It's a pretty nice writer. Of course, it's vintage, so I'm not sure whether you would like to take this, out when you're, for meetings or stuff, because apparently it's old and a little antique, so you've got to be a bit careful with it. Apart from that, I think it's an awesome pen, and it's time I show you a writing sample. So that's what I'm going to do next. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so here we go with the Waterman Ideal 52 Ideal ring top. Long name. I just put down Waterman's Ideal 52V. There's, as I said, 52.5, etc. But this one, I think I saw somewhere, this one is just marked 52. Now I can't find it anymore, but bear with me. This is just a writing sample. The nib, well, that's an interesting question. It says number 2. It doesn't say anything about the width. What would we say? A good fine or a finish medium? Something like that. Let's do some writing. You may hear some sound, but it's not at all scratchy, actually. It's maybe a little bit of feedback, but not in an unpleasant way. I kind of enjoy this. What about fast writing? The quick old fox, brown, jumps, stuff, and things. Seems to keep up well. Back in the day they used to make those excessively awesome feeds that just keep going and going. Well, now we come to the part you've all been waiting for, right? The flex. Well, this is absolutely no pressure. And I will start to increase pressure as I go on. That's how it's done. The pen didn't do that skip, that was me. Hello, slut. My two favorite flex words. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice and juicy? I love it. Great. Very, very nice. Very nice. What about its wetness? Doesn't seem like it's the wettest pen in the world, but it's not dry. Very good flow, I would say. But I need more flex today. Well, there you have it. Ideal 52V. I like it a lot. It's got some flex. And shipping, which was decent from the US. And what you get is a nice flex pen. I had to work on it a little, but it worked out just fine. And what would you prefer? A Coleco Sport Classic or this? Don't answer, that's a rhetorical question. Okay, I'll see you later. I hope this was useful, and bye-bye.